And Dickie Murphy about to get the match underway. And it is Athenry who play into the goal on our right. The fancy team here, the bookies have made them 6-4 on favourites. So here they come looking for their first chance. And that first chance got over the bar off the stick of Pat Higgins. That's a great start for Athenry. Exactly what they required right from the throw-in. Well, it was simplicity itself. Damien Garrahy pucking out for Wolfe Tones, who'll want to respond instantly now, put some pressure on the Athenry defence. Right in the thick of the action there was Pascal Healy. Brendan Keogh coming across as well, just to try and make it his, out by Paul Hardiman. Back in, however, by Dennis Reardon. Picked up again here by the hard-working Pascal Healy. Brian Hanley, the number 12 over there. Contesting with him was Derek Collins. His mother is the physio who looks after affairs here if the players go down with an injury. Sideline cut to be taken by, or rather retrieved by Brian Feeney. Good deep one inside. And some jostling for positions in there. That's young Eugene Clunan. Clunan going in there on Brian Lowe, and it's all hyped up in the opening seconds, first skirmish of the match. And the referee just trying to cool matters down. Brian Lohan, former player of the year, still a current all-star, against one of the young up-and-coming stars, Eugene Clunan. All ends with a handshake. This is what happened as that ball was pumped in from the free. Ball got lost. There they were wrestling, out of my way and so on. Almost got nasty. Referee to throw the ball in on the 20-metre line. And the indication then that it's going to be free to Athenry. Jerry McIntyre, the player, going back to guard the goal. Big day out for all the fans as well. So here comes their second chance of a score, and put over the bar by Eugene Clunan, son of Tom, nephew of Jarlath, and it's 2-0. And Eugene Clunan will be remembered by hurling fans, having played in goal for the Galway under-21s last year, won in All-Ireland, also with the minors, of course. Great puck out, taken up brilliantly there by John McPhillips. Stopped, however, back there. Jerry Kane in the thick of the action. So too is Damien Keogh. Comes out towards Pascal Healy. Good clearance under pressure. Joe Rabbit contesting there. Poniard knocking it ahead. And again, a bit of jostling, and the referee says this time it's going to be a free downfield. And Dickie Murphy making it plain that he's not going to stand for any kind of nonsense in this match. So free for her team. Sean Power is going to take it. Indeed, he has started at centre half back. Frank Lohan, right half back. Good length in this one. In towards Collins, and he's got it! The perfect start for Derek Collins. A goal after 4 minutes to put Wolfe Tones from Shannon in front. The scorer of some vital goals, 2 against Six Mile Bridge in the Clare quarter-final, 1 against Rowan Tubber in the semi-final, another one in the semi, and another one here. The man with the goal touch. Whipped on by Brendan Keogh. Well, that's a really good start to this match. Eugene Clunan then giving some problems early on for Brian Lohan. And Lohan then expressing his annoyance towards the match referee. Well, you may have been at the league final last May in Limerick and witnessed the vocational schools match just before that between Galway and Cork. And I think this player got just about every one of Galway's scores. Once again, accuracy personified. Very good start for him, and it's tied up then. But the goal by Wolfe Tones after 4 minutes, hit in over the head there by Derek Collins, getting past Michael Crimmins. This is Martin Hartigan, starting solidly in the full back line, where so much is expected of Brian Lowen. Good ball in. Brian Higgins let it go on back in towards Collins. Jerry Kane back there. Paul Lee trying to pick it up. That's the other Paul O'Rourke. Picked up here by John McPhillips. Lost. Still they prod away at it there. Pressure on the Wolf Tones full back line once again. It was Brian Hanley who was trying to make some inroads. Comes back into midfield. Pat O'Rourke. And that ball finished over the bar by Brian Hanley, by Paul Lee. So it's a goal and a point to 3 points. It really is fast and furious. In by Pat O'Rourke, picked up very well here by the left half forward Paul Lee, and Lee struck it sweetly between the posts. So Wolf Tones in front for the second time in this match. Joe Rabbit starting at right half forward. Aidan Poniard is only 18 years of age, so it's a big occasion for him. Already the scorer of 3 points in this championship. Study of absolute concentration there by Paul Meany. He was practicing those cuts in Cusack Park in Ennis last Thursday, where the team practiced. That was Brian Feeney picking it up, last year's hurler of the year in Galway. Eamon Keogh with the clearance for Athenry. So much expected of them, but then Wolf Tones have come here, having performed expertly in the Clare County Championship and then through the Munster campaign into the All-Ireland. Sean Power poised to take the free for Wolf Tones. Again, getting good length into it. He's wind assisted in the first half. That's caught there by McPhillips. And John McPhillips, who was married the day before the semi-final win, has got a free in. Well, the player who's been taking all these frees in practice is Paul Carey, known as Jack, as we said earlier. Michael Crimmins, who's a student in Pontypridd in Wales, with his defenders there poised on the goal line. But it goes up and over the bar. First point of the afternoon for Paul Carey, and it's 1-2 to 3 points. That goal certainly has done a power of good for Wolf Tones. Joe Rabbit coming and gathering, taking the shoulder. Hasn't always been a happy hunting ground for Joe Rabbit, and this time the referee spots that Eugene Clunan has fouled Brian Lowen. The helmet went flying. Free to Wolf Tones. Just a well-timed nudge, I think. This is the concentration here. There's the Hurley going, or the helmet going west. Another huge one dropping in again towards Collins, pulling on it. Keary coming across, picked up instead by Paul Hardiman for Athenry. Lovely control play here by Sean Power. Was that out over the sideline? The linesman says yes. Line ball to Athenry. And each side now has settled down. We've only played nearly 9 minutes. It'll be Paul Hardiman who'll take the sideline ball. One of 4 players for Athenry starting today who played in 1988 against Middleton in the final. Nice control play by Frank Lowen. Good ball downfield. This is John McPhillips again, starting very prominently. He's hooked well. Feeney does well. It's John Feeney. Good play. Eamon Keogh with the clearance to midfield. Aidan Poniard against 2 Wolf Tones players trying to make some headway. Stopped well there by Frank Lowen. Brian Feeney was waiting for it. Keary comes out, tries to get it to the man in space, can't succeed in doing so. Bit of a wild pull. And a free after all of that for Brian Feeney's team, today's Athenry captain. Bit of an injury, so there's a delay in play. This is the woman we were talking about a little while ago, Brian Hanley's mother. Noreen Hanley attending to the injured player, and this is the reason why. Player in need of attention is John Feeney. On a particular weekend last October, he won an All-Ireland Junior medal, followed it up with Galway Intermediate and Senior Open draw medals. Quite a weekend. Brian Feeney taking the free himself for Athenry, who trailed by 2 points in this match. This is Cathal Moran. They're expecting great things from him. Inside for Joe Rabbit. Back towards Moran again. Danger signals here. Nice point. Lovely skill by Cathal Moran. First chance that he's had a bit of latitude in which to perform. And the fans of Knockmore waiting for the football, applauding that, hoping for a Connacht victory here. The 1-2 from Rabbit into Moran, sweet as you like, and over the bar. Moran, by the way, is playing left corner forward, Cloonan full forward, and Poniard right corner forward. So just over 11 minutes gone in the first half, and a great pace to the match so far, great intensity as well. So much at stake after a long and busy year. Dennis Reardon fluffing his chance somewhat, but Wolf Tones retained possession. Comes back from Finbar Carrick, back to Reardon. Floating one in. Difficult one for the goalkeeper. There was a man waiting in the square. That was Paul Carey. So a free out for Michael Crimmins. Peter Malloy surveying things on the sideline. Well, there has to be a temptation on the part of Athenry to try and take Brian Lohan out of the full-back position if at all possible, drag him out towards the wings. Here he is here defending against Eugene Cloonan once again. Good defensive play that time. Great play indeed by Brian Lohan, showing us just why he's an excellent full-back. But it comes back to Athenry, back to Brian Hanley, but no luck with the finish. But in that last little cameo there, we had a lovely hook by Brian Lohan to take it away from Eugene Cloonan. That's Alan Cunningham, who is in charge of the Wolf Tones team. Back in 1978, he was the captain of the Wolf Tones under-14 side to win the A Championship in Clare. One of so many great successes that they've had, a tribute to the many teachers in the parish schools in Shannon, who brought on the game of hurling since 1967. Martin Hartigan retrieving the ball. A crowd of around 25,000 expected here this afternoon. A bumper double bill of Gaelic games. Once again, Paul Meany. Taken nicely by Paul Lee. Dropped in well. It was Paul O'Rourke who was after it, and O'Rourke was a real danger man up front for Wolf Tones, scorer of 2-4 against Ballygunner in the Munster Championship. Back again it comes to Paul Lee, captain of Clare when they were here in the Minor All-Ireland final in 1989 against Offaly. Danger here, diffused by John Feeney. Not a good pass away, however, and the open chance taken gleefully. That was excellent by Finbar Carrick. It's 1-3 to 4 points. Well, he snapped up the chance when the clearance was a poor one here. John Feeney leaving it behind there for Finbar Carrick to make the most of the opening and float over the point. Michael Crimmins varying the direction of the pack out. Back in again by Pat O'Rourke. O'Rourke's dad is a selector with the Wolf Tones team. That was Pascal Healy. And the clash of the ash, quite literally. Big day out then for all the family. Once again, it's Paul Meany. Off Joe Rabbit. Taken by Pascal Healy. Big display expected from Pascal Healy and his midfield ally, Brendan Coe, for Athenry. Appeals. And the linesman decides that it's going to be an Athenry ball. So Paul Meany and his defenders wait inside, and Pascal Healy, one of those to have had a spell with the Galway seniors in the past, ready to hit this one. Poorly hit effort, however. But Joe Rabbit making something of it. Great run by Rabbit. Good vision to pick out Poniard. No advantage. The referee had whistled, and in the end, Eugene Cloonan couldn't put it away. But it's going to be a free in. And the referee has spoken, indeed more than spoken, to Pat O'Rourke. Name has been taken for the challenge here on Joe Rabbit as he was taken out completely. But it was a great pass, and the referee, I think, decided there wasn't going to be anything coming from it from an Athenry point of view, so a free in instead. Well, he hasn't always enjoyed the greatest of success or luck in major finals in Croke Park. 6-4, and of course a motor rallying enthusiast as well, so nursing that hand injury. Probably the tallest player on the field if you looked through the range of statistics that we have. Joe's okay. And a free in. There's just a point between the teams following this latest free by Eugene Cloonan. 3 in a row for him, and it's 1-3 to 5 points. The Tones from Shannon still a point to the good. Pressure applied once again by Wolf Tones. Solid defence over there. And Finbar Carrick shaping up to Brian Feeney. All part of the heat of the moment in a major final. But from time to time we've seen some very good free-flowing hurling. We could do it a lot more of it. It's going to be a throw ball, the linesman decides. So take your pick from 4, should have been 2. This time for that dangerous pull, the referee decides that it's a free in to Wolf Tones. And they've decided to bring Paul Carey, and they call Jack out to take it. Remember, Wolf Tones, a point in front. 1 from 1 for Paul Carey so far. Pitch in absolutely wonderful condition. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it really is superbly looked after. And he's put it over the bar. So 2 from 2. And it's 1-4 to 5 points, 7 points to 5. Clare leading Galway. So this business studies student based in Wales, father hails from the Cork hurling parish of Ballyhay. Good puck out against the wind by Crimmins, but it's not a particularly strong breeze. Out for Pascal Healy to try and make something of it. Sean Power instead, the number 5, just running on past Pat O'Rourke. Nicely taken back there by Brendan Keogh. We haven't seen a lot of Keogh in this match so far. This time it's Brian Lohan. Oh, a late challenge there by Pat Higgins on Lohan. Not quite a fair shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. Brian Lohan taking the free himself. Nicely gathered here in his stride by Paul Lee, then he dropped it. Back in by Dennis Reardon. Away they come again. Pat O'Rourke trying to take the ball up onto his stick. And it came off the face, I think, that time of Brian Feeney. Unfortunately, he was wearing the helmet, but he still has gone down of the effects of that blow. Play continues. And it was Jerry Kane who was coming out. Referee whistles. Brian Feeney stepping back into picture, the number 6. Just watch as Brian Higgins was coming here to challenge, and he took the full force of this right into the side of the face. And there is some little bit of protection, as you can see there, and that little bit may have saved him from more serious injury. Up it goes again towards Joe Rabbit, drifting in towards top of the right. That's Martin Hartigan, not a very good clearance so far, a little bit indecisive. In the end, Paul Meany coming to the rescue of his full-back line. Brian Feeney going back, misses it completely. Paul Carey has it instead for Wolf Tones from Shannon. across towards Paul O'Rourke, being very closely policed by John Feeney this afternoon so far. O'Rourke trying to take it in his stride. Finbar Carrick in there as well, alongside the goal scorer Derek Collins. This is Paul Hardyman, left half back for Athenry. That's Brian Hanley into the inside forward line, into Eugene Cloonan, getting away from Brian Lohan. Lohan well aware of this man's potential. Dropped down there by Hartigan. The clearance out only as far as Pat Higgins. Pressing forward there, Cathal Moore, and Higgins there as well. Picked up in the end by the other cornerback, Jerry McIntyre. Whipped out by Sean Parr, not so far. This is Brendan Keogh, remember 93 against Kilkenny. This is his midfield partner, Pascal Healy, and that's a great point. Great score by Pascal Healy to make it 1-4 to 6 points, 7 points to 6. And certainly the Athenry fans enjoy that. Brendan Keogh setting it up for the midfielder, coming through unchallenged, and from outside the 45-metre line he whips it over the bar. Keogh once again in towards Aidan Poniard, back to Joe Rabbit. Little partial blocking it by Paul Meany. This time unchallenged is Brian Lohan. Great one from Lohan, it's a huge one, and stopped at the goalkeeper at the other end, Michael Crimmins. What a point that would have been. Out to Brian Higgins. This is Pascal Healy beating the would-be challenge. Again Brian Lohan reading the game so well. Cloonan slow at this stage to close him down after a good start. Knocked in there, Brian Feeney breaks it down, but once again he needs the assistance of Paul Hardyman to come to his help. From his own 45-metre line, it's in once again towards Cathal Moran. It runs on instead to Eugene Cloonan. Cloonan on his left-hand side, another chance and another point. That's 4 points by Eugene Cloonan. That's the first from play. 1-4 to 7 points in the match, tied up. Well, after all those wonderful frees, here he is showing us what he can do from play. On his left-hand side, he's very comfortable. Certainly looks very much at ease in this particular company. The shot there just going wide of the target. But O'Rourke, the player who was just out of luck. This is quite a tie, isn't it, between Eugene Cloonan and Brian Lohan. This was Lohan, and there was the challenge from Lohan, and Cloonan went down. Referee didn't spot it. Brian Feeney showing a little bit too much of that to John McPhillips. Recovers, however. In again once more towards Eugene Cloonan. Batted out this time to Jerry McIntyre, the cornerback for Wolfe Tones. Broken down here by Brian Higgins, but only as far as the waiting John McPhillips. Fancies his chance, but he's put it to the left. McPhillips, the one change that they made in their lineup following their semi-final win.
Come on, Pat, in the game now, in the game.
So once again it's up to Michael Crimmins. Against the light breeze, it hangs around midfield over the head of Brendan Keogh. That's Brian Hanley. Inside once again towards Eugene Cloonan. Down goes Brian Lohan, and Brian Lohan, I think, not one bit happy with the kind of player he's having to mark this afternoon. So the 6'1" Brian Lohan is 26 years of age, bank official, twice an All-Star, up against a really young emerging talent. Free by Frank Lohan, right into the corner, controlled over there by Finbar Carrick, but it just goes over the sideline. I would imagine from Wolfe Tone's point of view, their target must be to try and get good ball into their inside forward line, in particular to free up Paul O'Rourke, who can be a prolific scorer. He's their number 13. Paul Hardyman. Won well by Sean Parr, playing well against Pat Higgins. This is Frank Lohan, hurler and footballer, of course, and that's found the range, and it's struck over the bar by the younger of the Lowans, and it's 1-5 to 7 points. This is the score by Frank Lohan, who's played football for Clare, football for UCC, but hurling in particular for Clare at All-Ireland level. Great score. So Wolfe Tones back in front again. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Good first half, plenty of activity, lots of movement, plenty of talking points. That's Brian Feeney, lovely hand pass inside for Joe Rabbit. could have taken it on a little bit more. Going for the shot from 20 metres off the feet that time of Hartigan comes back again to Martin Hartigan, and out into the middle to Pat O'Rourke. Could have been a goal that time for Joe Rabbit. Good defending on the part of Athenry, and in particular Brian Feeney. This is Joe Rabbit's shot, and watch for the intervention of Martin Hartigan, number 4. Took the sting out of it, and away it went. At the opposite end, the sound mic there causing just a few problems for Jack Keary, as they call him. Good cut, dropped, one back again, fumbled somewhat. Nervous moments back there. That was John Feeney. The fumble was by Paul Hardiman. Towards Brian Hanley's corner. The pressure, however, being a little bit too much. The challenge unfair by Brendan Keogh. The free to Wolf Tones. So after Athenry had set the early trend and were set to dominate, it seemed, stung by that goal after 4 minutes by Derek Collins, and now Paul Keary with a chance to extend their position. But this close to the middle of the field, a long way out, and he's put it to the right. 2 points his tally so far, and they lead by a point. Batted down there by Dennis Reardon. Finbar Carrick adding to it, in towards Derek Collins, who aside from the goal chance hasn't had much else so far. Here he comes again, that time blocked down by Jerry Kane, whipped on again and then put out for a 65. Appeals all around back there. It was dangerous. It was Derek Collins who was setting up the chance. There was a little block down by Jerry Kane, and in the end it was played away out over the end line by Brian Higgins. So when we resume, it'll be a 65 for Wolf Tones. Frank Lohan coming to take it. The Lohan brothers, of course, the son of Gus Lohan, who played for Clare and also played for Galway. Frank Lohan hitting it, and he drops it to the right. At this level of competition, it must count as a pretty good chance with the wind behind him. Well, the Athenry goalkeeper has opted to take it from the left-hand side as we look at, and just to maybe vary it a bit. Towards Joe Rabbit. 2 players against him. That's Brian Higgins. Came off Paul Lee. One back over there by Paul Hardiman. Up as far as Brian Hanley. Attracting Frank Lohan to him. Brendan Keogh. Seemed to go off Keogh. He was attempting to take it up, went off his foot. Hasn't had the happiest of matches so far. Just over a minute to go to half-time. Frank Lohan cutting it in, this time opting to cut it right across diagonally towards Paul Keary, but it's picked up instead there by Eamon Keogh, brother of Brendan. On towards Pat Higgins. Higgins taking it away. Keary still chasing after him. One back. Good play here, but the referee spotting the foul there, which was on Cathal Moran. And more than that, the referee with the notebook out once again, and just taking the name of Dennis Reardon. This was where Moran was trying to advance on the 45-metre line. The challenge, which the referee penalised instantly. So another chance for Eugene Clunan. 4 points his tally from this first half. It's now 5. Excellent first half return showing tremendous maturity and tying up the match once again. So heading into injury time in this AIB-sponsored club final. Brendan Keogh takes it out of midfield for Athenry. Up towards Ponyard, batted down instead by Martin Hartigan. This is Sean Power, trying to skip away from the challenges, opting to boot it out, but only as far as an Athenry player. Brendan Keogh. Brian Hanley is there as well. Fresh air puck effectively, and the referee says that's as much as we've time for from an eventful first half. As they started, so they finish. The goal by Derek Collins after 4 minutes for Wolf Tones, really setting them up to come back strongly against the highly fancied Athenry. And at half-time here in Croke Park, it's Wolf Tones 1-5, Athenry 8 points. And Eugene Cloonan going in there, I'm sure he must be very satisfied with his first half, up against a player of rich talent in Brian Lohan, one of the best defenders in the game at present. But he was the scorer of 5 points. Much more to come, the football as well, and of course the second half as well from Croke Park in a moment.
An excellent first half. I think the first 2 minutes set the tone of the whole game. Really fast, very competitive. No space being given by either team to the opposition, and you won't get a better first half than that. Now, I suppose at the end of the first half, Athenry are very happy to be level with Shannon, because first of all, Shannon have done the best part of the hurling, and secondly, Athenry will now have the win in the second half. I think it's going to be a tremendous second half.
Ger, let's take a look at one or two of the key scores out of this match. Now, this was the goal for Wolf Tones. What a puck this was.
Well, Sean Power is an outstanding player, and he's playing really well today, and a real long ball in here to Derek Collins, and Derek Collins is forte, of course, is doubling in the air or catching the ball in the square. He just connects with it. Goalie has no chance, the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
There was a doubt actually about Derek before the game, but he's worked his weight in goal for balls like that in around the square.
Well, certainly in the first half he's got that key score anyway. We're going to look at one or two of the Athenry scores now. Eugene Cloonan was an important part of this game, but so too was Pascal Healy, and this was a very good point.
Well, Pascal Healy is having a great game for Athenry. I think this is a result of great teamwork from Athenry. The ball was passed around 3 or 4 times before giving back to Pascal in and support, ball over the bar. He is one of the most influential players on the field at the moment, Pascal Healy. Very, very strong, very direct, and delivering great low ball into the forwards.
Athenry, naturally enough, are looking to some of their better known players like Joe Rabbit and like Eugene Cloonan for scores, and Cloonan is really coming up trumps again.
This is where the big clash is between Brian Lohan and Eugene Cloonan. Cloonan is a really class player. When you think he's only 18, the confidence he's showing, the skill he has, and that was a tremendous point with Brian Lohan closing in. But I'm really looking forward to the second half and seeing the battle there will be between those two, especially now that Athenry have the win and there'll be more ball going in. Something really to look forward to.
Tones will feel, I presume, Ger, they haven't quite done enough maybe in that first half to put a bit of a gap in it.
Yeah, there were 2 frees there, but just before half time, about 50 yards out that they missed, and they could rule that before the end of the game. But still, they're in the game, they're well in the game at the moment, they're competing very, very well. The wind isn't a huge factor, it is some factor in the game, it's not a huge factor. And if they can get another goal or two, they'll be well in the game.
All right, Ger, thank you for your thoughts for the moment. Now, we also look forward to
stay close to them, because Wolf Tones have a lot of close calls in the championship so far, and they've come out on top in close finishes, and they'll be thinking of that. So if they're close to Athenry at the end, they have a great chance of taking this game. The next 10 minutes will be absolutely vital.
Well, Ger, there's the man that so much depends on for Athenry, Eugene Cloonan. Joe Rabbit also, of course, in the picture, discussing tactics for that second half. Let's go back to our match commentator, Ger Canning.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, interesting thoughts at half-time. We're still awaiting the return of Wolf Tones from Shannon. No changes on the Athenry team that we could see so far. But yes, you mentioned Eugene Cloonan, certainly a prodigious talent, and that's some tussle. We're looking forward to his tussle with Brian Lohan. But overall, a well-balanced match. Little to choose between the teams, and Athenry having the advantage of this light breeze for the second half. PJ Malloy then with the little bottle of water being dispensed to Pascal Healy. And now the cheer from the Shannon fans as Wolf Tones come back onto Croke Park, having had their half-time rest in the new dressing rooms under the new stand. You heard where the football teams came down here yesterday. Well, the hurlers, of course, also came to Dublin on Sunday, and where Wolf Tones were concerned, well, they flew to the venue. So the start of the second half, level at half-time, won 5 to 8 points. And once again, Dickie Murphy to commence proceedings. So neither side has made a change. And away we go once more. So now what will Athenry be able to do with that breeze at their backs. Frank Lowen back there to try and deny them at centre half back. Running into the challenge there from Brian Higgins for Athenry. Bit of a fresh air puck there by Dennis Reardon. The player who came out for it was Martin Hartigan, leaving it there for Joe Rabbit, who was a flu victim before this match. And a bit of a doubt at that, but Joe has missed his chance, first of the second half. Yet to score in this game. Damien Garahy, who's the Wolfe Tones custodian, a Master's Business Studies student. And just like his team captain Brian Lowen, a Fitzgibbon Cup medal winner back in 1994. Great catch in the centre of the field once again by Pascal Healy. What a match he's playing there. On it runs towards Brian Feeney. Defending well, assisted by the other Brian Higgins. Taken out of midfield, however, by Pat O'Rourke. Up towards his brother Paul. Out comes Michael Crimmins. Good clearance under pressure. And Athenry turning defence into attack, but that's broken up instantly. Sideline ball, the outcome. All manner of hair curls and hair colour and you name it, every possible form of colourful declaration here at Croke Park this afternoon. It's Pascal Healy who's going to hit the sideline ball. Connects really well, but just too well. Out to the left, and there was no way that Cathal Moran could keep it in play. Smiling Eugene Cloonan. It was Moran who was nearest to it. Each side continuing to keep their shape. Garahy's puck out against the breeze, whipped on by Paul Lee, won back instead by Brendan Keogh. Stymied, however. Jack Hardiman is in there. That's hit forward there by Paul Lee. Nicely on for John McPhillips, and dropped in, but stopped by the goalkeeper. Good save by Michael Crimmins. Hit out by Eamon Keogh. Out to a colleague, Pascal Healy was expecting a little bit more latitude, but they were in quickly on him. John McPhillips, one of those. That's Brian Feeney, very stylish player, into the corner there towards Aidan Poniard. Good angled ball, but they can't connect on it, however. And Poniard, I remind you, came in for the injured Donal Moran before the start of the match. Moran having failed a fitness test this morning. So no change to the score, 3 minutes gone in the second half. And here come the Tones. Once again it's Pat O'Rourke. The angled shot by O'Rourke dropped in, and that was so very near another one there for Derek Collins. Not too much to choose in that one there. Might have been in the small rectangle, mind you, but the whistle had never sounded. It was Pat O'Rourke who floated this one across, having gone by Eamon Keogh, and Collins very nearly making a connection. Again, Paul Meany under pressure from Joe Rabbit. Rabbit looking for the first score of the second half. Stopped, however, by the dashing Brian Lowen. Dashing from his full-back position to make the clearance. Stopped by Paul Hardiman. Hitting it on his right-hand side to midfield, where Joe Rabbit's there for it. Getting by the challenge of Paul Meany. And then Pat O'Rourke, still Rabbit. Rabbit for Athenry in this club final. Going to the ground, no foul. The referee says play on. And this time he swept it off the ground. It'll be a free out for Wolfe Tones after he'd done so much of the spade work. Well, so far Joe Rabbit has promised quite a bit in this match without yet fully delivering. That's where he went down. Ball on the ground taken up. Free into the corner towards Paul Carey. Finbar Carrick. Carrick seems to have switched in the second half with Paul Lee. Once again it's Paul O'Rourke, yet to score in the game, and the challenge going in there from John Feeney. He chopped down really, and Paul O'Rourke looked across at the referee. It'll be a sideline ball. Yet to score. Dennis Reardon sideline cut. Not much length or distance into it. Instead, it's Brendan Keogh for Athenry, kicking it forward into the half-forward line. Make that into the inside forward line, because that's where Cathal Moran is now, up against Jerry McIntyre. Moran, one of the real talents of this Athenry team. Nicely inside for Brian Hanley. On the ground, came off Brian Lohan. It's gone for a 65. It was dangerous. From being under pressure themselves, Athenry took it down the field, down towards Cathal Moran, inside for Brian Hanley. Watch as it came there off the leg of Brian Lohan. So out to the 65-metre line we go. And Eugene Cloonan waiting out there to hit it. 5 points from the first half. So Athenry, who scored the first point in this match from Pat Higgins, looking for another one. Start of the second half, and Eugene Cloonan now with the sixth, and it's 9 points to 1-5. Vital moments now, as Ger Loughnane was suggesting at half-time, in this second half. Good play by Dennis Reardon. And they're certainly managing to keep it away from Paul O'Rourke so far. A credit there to John Feeney. That's Brian Hanley. Over the head of Aidan Poniard. Instead, it's Paul Meany for the Tones from Shannon. Poniard does well. Dispossessing his man. On his left-hand side, striking it, but it's always going to the left. Wasted opportunity once again. Just 18 years of age. And there's the manager of Wolfe Tones, Alan Cunningham. So far, very little to choose between these teams. Exactly as we expected it. Referee may opt to throw the ball in. Last player up was Brian Feeney. Little gash on the head there of Pascal Healy, as you may have noticed. Brendan Keogh about to contest here with Dennis Reardon. Referee wanting everybody back. Won by Keogh. But it comes back to Sean Power. The player has set up the goal. That time thrown out somewhat. Good play by Pat Higgins. Taken up here by Cathal Moran. It's going left. Couple of good chances, however, falling to Athenry. Well, at this particular level of the game, you hardly expect to get them straight in front of goal. They're going to be half chances. Here's another one. And wisely, the goalkeeper, Damien Garrahy, just leaving it go harmlessly out over the end line and wide. PJ Malloy there with his selectors. They include Martin T. Kelly, the club lotto chief and principal of the local school, Paddy Conway, Tom Howley and Jackie O'Shea. The team has been trained by Pat Nally, a Mayo man. Sort of a double interest in this final here, with the footballers from Knockmore coming up later on against Crossmaglen. All of that live this afternoon. Well won by Finbar Carrick. That's the battling Paul Hardyman trying to take it out of danger. Hardyman has it back again. Skipping by Paul Lee, and the referee says you took too many steps this time, and a free in is the outcome. So Paul Hardyman back to left half back. Meanwhile, Wolfe Tones have brought Paul, known as Jack Carey, out to take the free. 65 metres out. They look for their first point of the second half. Remember, hitting into a breeze. Right in front of the goal. It looks to be going left. Well, they haven't had too many chances to add to their half-time tally, and now 10 minutes gone in the second half. Michael Crimmins hitting it towards the right-hand side this time, and that's where Pat O'Rourke had gone across. Brian Higgins needing some assistance, trying to get it across towards Brendan Keogh, and it goes towards Aidan Poniard. It's a lovely pick up by Poniard. How does this finish? It's another wide 4 or 5 wides now in the second half. Far too many. But they've been shots from some distance out. Garrahy pucking out once again for Wolf Tones. Brendan Keogh touching it down. This time it's won by Paul Hardiman. Again, those two involved. This time Brian Lohan against Joe Rabbit. Once again a throw ball. Won by Frank Lohan. And that's Pascal Healy going back there. Eugene Cloonan taking it up. Good chance. And he's knocked it over the bar. His 7th point of the match. What a personal tally. And it's 10 points to 1-5. The Tones yet to score in the second half. But here we are, 11 minutes in. Wonderful bit of individual skill getting away this time for Martin Hartigan. Same result, a glorious point. Sean Power back there needing some assistance. Brian Lohan finding it tough because they're in there challenging for everything, not allowing him to settle and be as composed as he likes to be. Lohan once more. Again beating the attempted block. 45 metres out from goal. Won back again by the mighty Brian Feeney. Full back last year for Galway in the championship. Taken forward by Dennis Reardon, dropped into the small rectangle. Crimmins with it. Out into the middle of the field to Brendan Keogh. Inside towards Cathal Moran. Challenged all this while by Jerry McIntyre of the Tones. Moran across to Pascal Healy. Referee says play on. Players were falling on the ground and that's gone outside once again. Far too many wasted chances, I think Athenry fans will feel. Healy was out for it, but he's left it there. And that's Finbar Carrick. Nicely inside towards Paul O'Rourke. Again challenged by Paul Hardiman. Out by Brian Higgins for Athenry. Downfield beautifully taken by Cathal Moran, but stopped by the tenacity of Jerry McIntyre, ably assisted by Brian Lohan. Good play by the Tones full back line, but dashing stuff here once again by Brian Feeney, stepping into the breach, knocking it in. Oh, it was oh so close. It's gone for a 65, the umpire has decided. Well, that's as near as you are likely to get. This ball dropped in by Brian Feeney, and they were very, very close to getting just a nice little touch on that one, but instead it went outside for a 65. And the player who got the little touch on that, or nearly got the touch on it, Eugene Cloonan, has come out to take this. For a player so young, he's really turning on a very mature performance. Won't be too long, I'm sure, before he's part of the Galway senior panel. And he's put it over the bar, 8 points. This time from a 65, and it's 11 points to 1-5. And a sub being made by Athenry, and you just wonder what's happened to the Tones in this second half. Player going off is going to be Brian Hanley. The player who's come on is Eddie Brady. So Athenry making the changes, not too happy I think with the missed chances from some way out the field. This is Eddie Brady, first chance to shine against Sean Power. So that's the first substitution in this match. Pascal Healy to hit this one. Great distance into it, in towards Joe Rabbit. Oh, knocked in beautifully. Oh, it's a great score by Poniard, while justifying his selection here. Oh, wonderful point. It's 12 points to 1-5. Aidan Poniard's first score. What a beauty. Finbar Carrick kicking it forward to Paul O'Rourke. This time the early ball inside towards Paul Lee, who's now been switched into top of the right. Lee trying to get a bit more change out of John Feeney. Knocked in, the goalkeeper has it. Good goalkeeping by Michael Crimmins for Athenry. Having a winning look about them at this stage as Pascal Healy drives it back down defiantly in towards Joe Rabbit. Runs on again, this time to the substitute Eddie Brady. Brady's shot has gone right. He's gone down injured. Bit of jostling in the background. The nature of the challenge on Eddie Brady as he was going in to hit that shot in, not liked one bit by the other members of the Athenry team. Dickie Murphy happy that calm has been restored and play can continue. Nearly 60 minutes of the second half gone. Wolf Tones have not scored in this second half. That's Brian Hanley out there taking a rest now, having been subbed. Pascal hit the shot this time, drops to the right. And you can see there Cathal Moran and the others inside playing, play it into us. They want it played in lower. And just once again to confirm that it's 12 points to 1-5. Still just 4 between them. And what a Tones score would do to enliven this match once more. It's been all Athenry. And that, the Tommy Moore Cup, famous trophy that they're competing for. That's won by Eddie Brady. He just hit onto it and it went slicing off his stick out for a sideline. So now questions being asked of the character of the Wolf Tones team and their spirit and commitment to try and take themselves back into this match. They need something quickly. Still no substitution. That's Paul Keary back in, and the referee that time has penalised Jerry Kane. Foul on John McPhillips. Free in to Wolf Tones, should be their first score of the second half. Brian Feeney going back in, the team captain, onto the goal line, but the foul was by Jerry Kane. And Wolf Tones in the background have been preparing a couple of subs. One of them, I think, is Kieran O'Neill with the ponytail. Meanwhile, it's Paul Keary. He puts it over the bar, his third point of this match. Wolf Tones' first score of the second half after 18 minutes, and it's 12 points to 1-6. A goal between the teams. Still possible for both sides because of Athenry's wastefulness. They have simply not been able to blow out the challenge of these Wolf Tone players. And you see there that the players they are preparing are Kieran O'Neill and John Reardon. Reardon, who was dropped for this match, having played in the semi-final. Here comes Brian Higgins. Lovely skill by Higgins. But still a poor finish after all of that. A player small in stature but wonderfully wholehearted, and under 21 last year. They could have done with that score. So it's Kieran O'Neill who is the first to come on. Well, he's not just on yet, he's on the sideline. Play goes on. Pat O'Rourke. Good play forward here by the midfielder. Was it a fair shoulder to shoulder? The referee says yes. In it goes to John McPhillips as a player over inside, but he took more than the 4 steps, and it's going to be a free out. So disappointment is Wolf Tones' lot once more. A promising situation, and now the first of their subs, Kieran O'Neill, about to come in. And who will be the player making way? It looks like it's Pat O'Rourke. So they're restructuring midfield. O'Rourke is gone. Finbar Carrick has been brought into a change position towards midfield. Meanwhile, it's Jerry Kane with the free out for Athenry. Can they now hold on to take their first All-Ireland club title? Brendan Keogh beaten for it by Brian Lohan. Back in again by Eddie Brady. Taken up here by Pascal Healy. Healy driving it this time to the left. My goodness, they've been so wasteful this afternoon after all that hard training that they put in on, what is it they call the hill at the back of their training ground, Margaret Barnes Hill. The players call it Calvary, up and down that hill, sprinting night after night. Here they come once again. Good play by Eddie Brady. Didn't get a good connection on it, however. That's Kieran O'Neill back there. Went flying past Dennis Reardon. Next in is Paul Lee. Into space, but there's nobody there for it. Wolf Tones a bit disjointed in the second half. But Athenry unable to blow apart their challenge because of poor finishing. And that time the foul by Brendan Coe on Frank Lowen results in a free to Wolf Tones. And the second of the subs there is John Reardon. He'd love to come in, just waiting for that little slip of paper and the permission of the ref. Frank Lowen to take it. 3 points the margin. Oh dear, he gets it back. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, and they've lost it now. And Eddie Brady has it. Well, that was a bit bizarre. Brian Lowen struggling to pick it up, does so at the second attempt. Very classy performer. What about that for class? Brian Higgins, the youngster, on for Pascal Healy, in towards Pat Higgins, difficult one to contain, however, and it's Sean Parr coming thundering out from centre half back, fouled, free up for the Tones. I make it just about 8.5 minutes remaining. Sub has come in. This is the foul on Sean Parr by the other number 5, Brian Higgins. Paul Carey about to hit this one from just inside the 65-metre line. Breeze seems to have dropped once again. That looks spot on, it is. 4 points for Paul Carey. And Wolf Tones starting to put away 1 or 2 chances. The flags raising proudly. And it's 12 points to 1-7, 12 to 10. Still lots of time. Will Athenry now rue all those many missed chances? The Tones getting a bit of a let-off in the second half. That's Joe Rabbit, still to score. That's substitute John Reardon, out towards Pascal Healy, one of the game's best performers. Once again it's John Reardon. Falls into midfield. Higgins taking it up. That's the younger, and he's put it over the bar. Brian Higgins, number 5. A real match-winning performance. The Bowron beaters beat their instruments. It's 13 points to 1-7. And this is how he did it. This is how he lifted the Athenry crowd once again with a smashing score. Back live with the action. Pressure on the defence, and that was Higgins getting it out. Only as far as Frank Lowen, head down, determined fashion. Leaves it behind to Brian Feeney, however. Nice, skillful play by Feeney, linking up with Brendan Keogh, 2 of the Galway inter-county players. In it goes towards Cloonan, and it's gone to the left, and he is most disappointed with himself. The one that got away for Eugene Cloonan, the 18-year-old. At the other end, it's Finbar Carrick, and there is a Athenry player down on the ground injured. It seems to be Pascal Healy. And concerned straight away there, so they whistled up the play. Once again, the attention there from Noreen Hanley on the injured number 8. Noreen, who's a sister of Tom Donoghue from the Offaly All-Ireland team of 1981, number 2 on that team, I think. And this is what happened just before all of that. Down he went. Well, back on his feet once again, but a couple of nasty gashes. And is he about to be replaced? This was Finbar Carrick again. Take a close look at this. Yes, he connected just with the hurley there. And Pascal Healy being forced out. They've brought on a sub. That's John Hardiman, brother of Paul. But Pascal Healy, a big loss to Athenry. Kieran O'Neill contesting there with Joe Rabbit. Player pushed was Brendan Keogh. And in the end, it's got to be a sideline ball, just to bring a bit of order back to proceedings. About to take it is John Hardiman. On Athenry and Wolf Tones' big day at Croke Park in the AIB All-Ireland Club Final. Here's Eddie Brady. Nicely down towards Joe Rabbit. Is that a winner? Not quite. Joe just cursing his luck. Puck out quickly taken by Damien Garrahy for the Tones. They want that ball badly. They have it through Frank Lowen. A little block on it, however, there by John Hardiman. Back it comes again to his brother Paul. Runs inside for Pat Higgins this time. Higgins trying perhaps to get another score and perhaps put it out of Wolf Tones' reach. He was fouled. It's a free in. There's a Tones player down on the ground. Seems to be Jerry McIntyre, who's injured. But Higgins, who's 32 years of age, who's played for Galway, and a player who was almost in. This is where he was hauled back. Jerry McIntyre was chasing after him along with Brian Lowen, and the jersey was pulled and down he went, free in on the 20-metre line. It was Jerry McIntyre who fell awkwardly, so the attention on the injured Wolf Tones player. Before this match they were saying that the two cornerbacks, McIntyre and Hartigan, would really have to up their game to support Brian Lowen, but that I think they have done throughout this match, although under a lot of pressure during the second half. That's John Hodgins on the right-hand side there, supporting Alan Cunningham. We may remember John Hodgins from the Cork team that won the All-Ireland in 1984, and a long-time member of that side. He's been down assisting Alan Cunningham with the coaching. Indeed, a strong backroom team there. So once again, question being asked of Eugene Cloonan to take the free and to put it effortlessly over the bar and record his 9th point of the match. 9 from 14. That's not half bad. So the Athenry subs look on, watching their team defending, and now hoping for the counter-punch. Cloonan maintaining his balance and control. John Hardiman couldn't flick that ball inside. Instead, it's Paul Meany for Wolf Tones. This is Brian Feeney, who's been so impressive at centre-half back. Batted back down by Kieran O'Neill. And that shot flighted in there. Damien Garrahy has enough time to look around, control it, play it outside to the recovered Jerry McIntyre. Onto his left-hand side, trying to beat the block of Colmoran. A nice ball inside. That's Higgins. Will it curl in enough? Not quite. It was a good pass, though, from Eddie Brady to set him up. A lot of target practice in the second half for Athenry, and the blood-stained Pascal Healy back there, having to live on his nerves and watch his teammates hope to complete the job that he has done so much to achieve so far. That's Paul Keary for a disappointing Wolf Tones in the second half. Still just 4 points between them. Here comes John McPhillips going to ground, and that's going to be a free in. There's just about a minute and a half remaining. So Paul Keary awaiting the instructions, and I think he's been told by Alan Cunningham what to do. Will he opt to drop this one in and hope that Derek Collins or somebody else can get to the end of it? He's lobbed it in, and the goalkeeper's made another very good save. It may look easy, but with the forwards coming in on top of you, it certainly isn't. Michael Crimmins did really well. Good play. Disappointed Wolf Tones fans here who've made the long journey up here from Shannon. Frank Lowen, they look for a goal to try and turn this match around. Once again, that's John Feeney. The two Feeney brothers have been stars for Athenry this afternoon, and Eddie Brady there geeing them all up. Players come in off the bench in the second half. More pressure, but we're inside the last half minute of regulation time, so it'll be at the discretion of the referee, who's now stopped the match because of a facial injury. Seems to be Brian Feeney who's got the injury. That's Paul Hardiman there. Looks a bit nasty. It's certainly some outstanding displays by players from both teams this afternoon, but during the second half the Athenry defence have shown tremendous pluckiness and spirit, ably coached by this man here, PJ Malloy. He was so disappointed to lose in 1988 to Middleton on a day when they didn't play well. Brian Feeney still needing attention. So the John's ambulance man there getting some assistance once again from that woman we mentioned earlier, Noreen Hanley. So Brian's able to continue. It may need a stitch later on, but straight away a sideline ball from Frank Lowen. In towards Paul Keary, neat pick up. In towards Paul Lee, stopped by Paul Hardiman once again, resorting to the boot, kicking it forward. It's stopped by Jerry McIntyre through the centre. A late chance perhaps. This is O'Rourke, hasn't scored so far. Played back inside. John McPhillips trying to take it forward, stopped by Jerry Kane, and the fullback defusing that, but only momentarily. It comes to Frank Lowen. He was tripped. Nothing terribly serious on the part of Eddie Brady, but it produces a free in, and then Paul Hardiman going down following a challenge, which happened after the referee had whistled. And referee Dickie Murphy now just calling aside a couple of players. That's Paul O'Rourke on the left-hand side. And complaints about carrying the ball too far, and then that's what happened. Just a bit niggling. It's put over by Paul Keary. He's got 5 points from this match, but hardly enough. Is there enough time? I make it just about 2 minutes of injury time gone. Pascal Healy over there on the side of the field alongside PJ Malloy, ready to come in. There's a goal between the teams, remember. The Tones have to get it up the other end. Pat Higgins will be hoping to keep it down there. Batted out by a combination of players. Here's Brian Higgins, such a dashing performer from right half back throughout the afternoon, one of the genuine stars of this match. Well, will it be a come-up double? That's what the people from Mayo, I'm sure, are hoping. So a picture of intensity here, as Eugene Clunan, in no particular hurry, coming out to take this one. Can't be very much left in it. About 3 minutes of injury time has gone. Clunan with a magnificent 9 points from this game. And that time, just to show that he's as human as the rest, he's missed it. It's all over, and Athenry have won their very first club title. Eugene Clunan jumps for joy. Commiserations from Paul Hardiman to Paul O'Rourke. The people from Knockmore in Mayo and from Athenry in Galway celebrate a win here in the hurling for the hurlers of Athenry. And this man is over the ditch first of all here to get in to cheer the heroes from a town that is simply steeped in hurling lore. And how the fans will celebrate. The final score, which reads St Mary's Athenry 14 points, Wolf Tones from Shannon in Clare 1-8. Only 3 points the margin. But certainly a terrific success. And the celebration will go on, I'm sure, for several days to come. But a really good start for a Galway club at the start of this year, hoping, of course, that it'll be a big year in hurling for Galway. And so a bishop with a mitre out there, I think, one of the fans. But they wait now for the team captain to come across here to collect the cup. The 27th time, as we said at the outset, that they were competing for this trophy, the Tommy Moore Cup, named after a great Fogs player. And so it is Athenry's day, and no doubt about that, even though at one stage during the second half they were hitting so many wides that you began to wonder if they were allowing Wolf Tones the opportunity to get themselves right back into it. But on the day, the Tones were simply not able to accept the challenge in the second half. Yes, the Bishop is in there after all. And he's got all the gear, as they say. And I don't think this man has graduated out of Maynooth. Certainly not judging by the blue jeans underneath all of that, but you never know. It's Brian Feeney, the team captain, with the Prix of Mayor John Leonard urging him to come forward and take the trophy. It'll be a very happy journey back to the West. And those who had installed Athenry as odds-on favourites, well, they'll feel quite justified. From goalkeeper Michael Crimmins up to Eugene Cloonan, they had so many star performers. Cloonan finished with 9 points. Cathal Moran just got 1 point in the first half, but that was a memorable one. There was a great second half point by Aidan Pollard as well. And now the turn of Jack Boothman to present the cup.
Has always been a great day in the calendar of the Governor's Class Gael. And since the inception of the All-Ireland Club Championships, it has become more closer to the people of Ireland. For small communities coming here to do their best for the local parish, the local club. And we've seen a great hurling match today from 2 great hurling teams representing very proudly their community and their county. It augurs well for '97, when the hurling is of such a high standard this early in the year. A great sporting game. We also have a man of the match to present as well, so don't rush off when I'm finished giving the cup here to Brian. So, Eshin, Tahas Curtinshaw runner, and captain Brian Feeney.
After Kiltormer and after Sarsfields, it's Athenry from Galway. Brian Feeney taking the Tommy Moore Cup. Worthy winners in the end, and she's mighty happy.
Tá an Curtinshaw Gapto, our son Gordon, our son and Paula, as our son and Curtin